Wow, that's amazing. And for those who don't know, for our listeners who don't know what that campaign is, could you tell us more about it?
Sure. It didn't start off as a campaign. It started off as an idea that a lady called Anna McAfee had, and she was based out of Coffs Harbour, just outside of Sydney. And she had the idea of, what it would be like to meet up with her LinkedIn connections offline, especially that she was in quite a small area and she didn't really know her connections too well. And being a mom and running her own business, she wanted to kind of be able to connect with other entrepreneurs. And I just left my corporate job in the city, and I was sort of experiencing something similar where, despite being an introvert, I was missing the human interaction of when you set up a business. And what I was finding is that even though I was going to networking events, it was very salesy. People were trying to get something from you. And it just didn't feel like somewhere that I was sort of empowered and inspired and, surrounded by like-minded people. So when I saw Anna's idea that she'd hashtag LinkedIn Local, I got in touch with her and I said, I'd love to find out more. I'm doing something similar. At the time, I had a hashtag of my own that was virtual to reality, where I was bringing my connections offline for a coffee, no agenda, just getting to know them. So it seemed like a natural progression for me to go from that one-to-one to doing it in a group setting. And two other people got in touch with Anna, Eric Eklund in Brussels and a guy called Manu Goswami that flitted between sort of New York and Singapore. And so we all decided to try this out, to get people to come offline, and no sales, no pitching, no agendas, just getting to know the people behind the profile. And in about September time, Manu did a post that got viewed by the former CEO of LinkedIn, Jeff Weiner. 1.4 million people saw that post. I then had one of my events that was on a boat just off South Bank, that was videoed by someone so people could start to see what was happening in the events and notice that actually this had a slightly different feeling to a traditional networking event. And then we just got inundated with requests of, how do I set one up? What's the ethos? What is it about? How can I get involved? How can I help? And it went from being 4 people in 4 countries and 4 cities to like, okay, well, now we need some form of organization. And we got really lucky that a guy called Ryan Troll approached us and said, do you guys need a website? Because we were getting asked a lot, the hashtag became so big that it became impossible to track where events were for people. And we had a lot of people that were commuting for work, for business, and wanted to meet people locally. Sometimes that can be also quite a lonely process, or people moving to countries and wanting to take advantage of meeting new people, professional people. And so he very kindly, because this was all pro bono, free, an initiative that started organically. We had a website, then we started onboarding people, and then before we knew it, we'd onboarded over 1,000 people in 2 years.
Wow.
We had these events across 90 countries, in hundreds of cities across the world, and it just became this massive movement. And to date, the biggest campaign on LinkedIn.
Wow, it's fascinating from just an idea, one person, 4 people to hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of cities. It's fascinating.